Last 30 years of working in this field, I've met a tremendous number of corporations all over the world. And I can honestly say that every company that has an active volunteer program is a wonderful company. But there's always a handful of companies that emerge as real leaders, not just about corporate volunteering, but for the global volunteer community as a whole. Companies who understand that we need them to invest not just in their own activities, but in the work that the rest of us do, in promoting and supporting volunteering, in building that NGO infrastructure that is so critical to support volunteering, and thus ultimately to support corporate volunteering. Well, one of those companies is United Parcel Service in the United States, otherwise known as UPS, not to be confused with UBS. UPS, United Parcel Service, is the world's leading logistics company. Many of us know them by the big brown trucks that they drive around our cities. And if you've seen their new advertisements on TV, you understand that they, like us in a global world, love logistics. So I want to introduce to you now a man who has been responsible for the UPS community relations activities and their support for volunteering. They have been tremendously generous with their financial and in-kind support. They are sponsors of this conference. They are the lead sponsor of the Global Corporate Volunteering Research Project, and they are a major partner with IAVE. Ed Martinez is the Director of Philanthropy and Corporate Relations, and he's responsible for making it all happen. Please welcome Ed Martinez.
Thank you, Ken. That was very generous. Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor for me to be here with all of you today. And I want to take a moment on behalf of all of the corporations here to congratulate President Lee, the IAVE Board of Directors, executive leadership, affiliates, volunteers, fellow sponsors, and our great host city committee for staging such a successful conference. So let's recognize. You know, there's nothing more humane than the simple act of people helping people. Nothing brings out the best in us, in our families, communities, governments, and even countries, than to come together and lend a helping hand to someone in need. And that's what makes IAVE so important. We are all bound and dedicated to do all that we can to foster and promote this global movement of volunteers. Because although this world seems to continue getting smaller, its challenges, as we know, are getting bigger. So this conference is a celebration of your work, of your dedication, of your devotion. And UPS employees from all over the world are proud to be your partner. More and more private sector businesses are being called upon to show leadership in community affairs. It's not only the right role for us to play, we also have much to gain as well. I propose that the size of a business's social conscience is determinative of the size of its future success. Community engagement enriches our employees, develops our leaders, connects to our customers, and most importantly, builds healthy and prosperous communities. Things are all good for business. Today I have been asked to share some experiences of our journey to mobilize a global workforce for the common good. For the next few minutes, I will humbly share some examples of all that we do. UPS employs over 400,000 employees worldwide. We're the second largest employer in the US and the 7th largest private employer in the world. We are an employee-centered company, so when we think about how we can help the community, we think first about what can our employees bring to the community. We see UPSers, time, passion, and expertise as the most valuable asset that we can bring to their communities. And because UPS employees live and work in over 200 countries, they see firsthand the challenges facing their own communities, and they want to be an agent of change. Whether it's helping in the aftermath of the floods in Pakistan, or teaching novice drivers road safety in the United Kingdom, UPSers are there. I am proud to report that last year alone, UPSers contributed more than 1.2 million hours of service in their communities. The first example of our work which comes to mind, I experienced before arriving here in Singapore. I spent a few days with UPS employees in India, and on one of the days they drove me 4 hours from Mumbai to a remote village where 6 years ago UPSers built a computer lab for the children of the village, a standalone air-conditioned structure built by 50 UPSers. At the time, these children had no access to computers or the internet. Today, they're connected and know how to use a valuable tool for their future. Our volunteer service covers the full spectrum of work: painting, building, teaching, mentoring, environmental conservation, stacking, packing, and cooking, just to name a few. However, I want to highlight our focus on skilled-based volunteering. Our professionals, our lawyers, accountants, tax professionals, technologists do a phenomenal job. But 2 programs which have been very special to all of us is our Global Humanitarian Relief Program and our road safety program called UPS Road Code. These programs are particularly special because they help save lives. At the outset of a natural disasters, logistics is key. NGOs need to get the right supplies to the right people as fast as possible, most often in a background of complete chaos. And logistics is what we do as a company. It's who we are for over 100 years. So it's a natural for us to dedicate ourselves for decades now in this work with leading humanitarian organizations including UNICEF, the World Food Program, CARE, our great friends at the American and International Red Cross and Red Crescent, to enhance their disaster preparedness, response capabilities, and most importantly, be there after in post-crisis recovery. Recently, we have been engaged in numerous crises, from Haiti to China, from the flooding in the Philippines and Pakistan to the crisis in Kyrgyzstan. We even transported urgent and needed tool parts to help free the Chilean miners. And as I speak here today, we are involved in helping in the floods in Australia and the mudslides in Brazil. One of the most compelling stories that I've been told came from John Vera and his colleagues, who are UPSers in our Latin American operations. They have volunteered for both disasters in Haiti. As a first responder, John was assigned to work with the World Food Program, making food drops by helicopter. People would gather at the landing site to receive the food. But early in the crisis, the situation in Haiti was desperate. And one of the food deliveries, the people rushed the helicopter. John observed a man that was heading straight for the rear rotor blade of the helicopter. John leaped out of the copter and tackled the man, preventing him from receiving mortal wounds. Like many other UPSers, John will tell you that his volunteer experience changed his life, and his family. As we heard yesterday from Michelle Young, road accidents are a leading cause of deaths around the world. UPS Road Code is a program that was designed by UPS volunteer safety professionals to teach safe driving techniques to novice drivers. And even better, it's taught by UPS employees. UPS employees are now proudly teaching their trade to thousands of novice drivers in 17 U.S. cities and the United Kingdom. This year will be operational in Canada, Germany, and next year will be here in Asia, positively impacting thousands around the world. I want to close by recognizing the most important component of our volunteer work, our partners, all of you, IAVE. Without organizations like yours, which lead the charge to change the world, it would be a far more desperate place. So I think all of you deserve a hand of applause.